Pre-pads, how much do you really think you're getting out of everything?
I think you can get a lot. I mean, going through those reps is very important. I'm a firm believer in practice how you play. A lot of guys need those reps, including myself, so I'm excited to get it rolling.
Trey, how do you go about building upon what you guys were able to accomplish last year, defensive line?
It's one of those things that each game is unique. We take our talents and abilities on our defensive line to help the team, and we plan on building off last season.
Trey, how important was BJ last year for what you guys were able to do from a defensive line success standpoint, and how happy were you to see him get the extension that he did this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, he well-deserved. He stepped in when he needed to be and stepped up, and great dude. His impact was felt, obviously, in the AFC Championship game. We needed that, and he was a force all year.
My guess would be you're not a big-time Madden guy, is that right?
No, not too much.
Did you hear about the ratings, though?
For
you?
Oh, I try to control what I can control and let the pieces fall wherever they want. I got tagged in a couple things, but I try not to just quiet the noise.
How much communication did you have with Joseph Ossai throughout last year, and how excited are you for him to be able to be healthy and get a training camp as well?
Yeah, anytime a player gets healthy is very important, especially a guy like Joseph. He works hard. He's dedicated to his craft. Very talented football player. And, I'm excited to see how he responds to the adversity of being injured.
What's the biggest difference you've seen in camp so far this year as opposed to last?
Major differences. I try not to compare as much as possible. I just think right now, very early in the season, very feeling out each other, getting ready for these preseason games, and building a team bond is really important in camp.
Did you rewatch Super Bowl 56?
I did not.
Okay. You plan on it any time, or you think you'll never watch it?
5-10 years maybe. I mean, we accomplished a lot of great things that does deserve a lot of respect, and it showed a lot of character of this team. The end result wasn't the way we wanted it to go, but at the end of the day, there was a lot of good things about the season, but no, I did not.
You start from square one, obviously, each year, but do you feel like there is momentum carrying over from a run like that where you did get all the way to the Super Bowl?
I think when you play football for as long as we did, we're a little bit, more in tune, not as many off weeks. And, it's one of those things that we're prepared for this season and the challenges that this is going to prepare for. I just heard Deshaun's getting about 6 weeks, so, he's going to be there for a game, so we'll plan accordingly.
You mentioned the word respect. Do you feel like this team's getting the respect it deserves from people outside of the building after your run last year? Does that stuff even matter to you?
I don't think it really matters to this team that much. We bring what we have on field, and what puts on film is for others to judge and not for us.
The expectations are one thing from the outside, like you just referenced, Trey, but inside, internally, what are the expectations in terms of the way you guys go about improving and building, like you said earlier?
Yeah, I think it's way too early to have team foundation like that. We do try to build off of last year, but again, this is a completely new team with guys wearing our colors now. We lost a couple guys as well, so developing our identity is going to be important for this camp, and do it accordingly.
You mentioned from a health standpoint, I know last year there were a couple of games where you were a little bit injured. How do you feel heading into this?
Yeah, I feel great. I think I had a good cast around me, and weightlifting, conditioning, and all that stuff. So I think, and obviously being around my wife helped. So, mentally, physically, ready to go.
Was there anything specific you focused on improving this offseason?
I think it should be everybody's job as a defensive end to get better in the run and the pass every season. So just being a complete player is important in this league, and yeah.
You mentioned a lot of new guys on this team. Who has opened up your eyes up the most since camp started?
Right now I'm pretty much focused on our D-line, getting the young guys ready for their roles, and when they hit the field, bringing them up. Internally, I haven't really focused that much besides that.
Given the grind year like you had last year, obviously we all saw the value as this defense. Did you feel different about yourself and your role this year when you come here year two after the first year you had in Cincinnati?
No, I've looked in the mirror and known what I was capable of for a long time, and it's just waiting on that opportunity to do things that help the team is the patience that every player should have. But As far as a role, that's, you guys can make any assumptions you want, but how I'm valued to my teammates is what's important to me.
Given the grind of the season, Trey, why is family, why is your wife so important in terms of being a part of what you're trying to do as an athlete?
Well, she's helped me beyond, words and comprehension. Like the compassion she gives me on tough days and losses, bringing me up, building me up. I'm confident in what I can do and reassurance, stuff like that you just can't, there's nothing I can do to repay her. So she's fantastic, and being there for her while she was in school was important to me.
Trey, you mentioned knowing about Watson. How did you find out, and how much do you pay attention to what's going on with the other teams, especially division teams?
I think that was headline news. You couldn't, turn a page without seeing that today. So, that handles itself. We control what we can control. If he rolls out there, we'll plan accordingly.
You had such a big year last year in the sack total numbers. I don't know how aware you are of where you ended up in Cincinnati Bengals history. Is that stuff meaningful to you at all, to come here year one and put up the numbers you did that were historical for this franchise?
That's all. It's all great. It really is. But again, we achieved some of the goals that we wanted to achieve, and we won games that we wanted to win. But inevitably, we have bigger goals, and we're excited for this season.
The offense is what's most talked about in the offseason. I know you keep saying you control what you want to control. However, what kind of motivation is that in the defensive room?
Well, it's not. We don't really need a lot of the recognition. What we do is try to get the ball back to number 9, and stopping them and making them punt is important to us.
Thanks. If it's really 5 to 10 years before you feel like you can watch that Super Bowl, that's a pretty telling statement about how much it must have hurt.
I think if you were happy after that, there's something wrong with you. So, it just is what it is. Somebody's got to lose. There's only one Super Bowl champion for a reason. Yeah, that's about it.
Did you linger on the field? I know some guys did. I didn't specifically notice if you did.
No, there's nothing more we could have did. Once the final whistle blows, it's pretty much the end of the season for both teams. And like I said, there's a lot to be proud of. I'm not taking away from anything like that, but it's something that I'm just not excited.
17.5 sacks, including playoffs, a Pro Bowl, and a trip to the Super Bowl. How personally gratifying was last year for you?
Again, it didn't end the way we wanted to. So there's things that I could have done better that would have put us in a better position to win. And, at the end of the day, the personal, that's something I'll look back on later too. But right now my focus is on getting better, helping us win games, and getting back to where we were.
What did you learn about yourself during that run?
I think the identity of this defense was something more I learned. We really started to find out where we were in our stride and who we were. Me personally, I'm just one of 11 guys that goes and rolls out there. So the better I can do my job, the better this defense will be.
Maybe in terms of preparation for this year, was there anything you felt like you needed to do to come in really prepared for another long season?
Not really. I think I've had a lot of good leaders in New Orleans and here on how to control what you can control, and things like recovery and things that are very important throughout the entire season. So, yeah.
The numbers you put up last year, were as good as any edge rusher. Whether we're talking about sacks or more advanced stuff. Do you look around at where that ended up comparing you to some of the top guys in this league? Or?
That's not something that's my job. That's for you guys to look at stats and all that stuff. My job, like I said, is to sack quarterbacks, get the ball back to number 9, and put us in a position to win games.
I know this team kind of bet on you a little early in free agency, betting on you having that breakout, and you did. Do you look at that and say, man, my numbers are the same as these guys? It would be nice if I would have had this a year later. Maybe I could be making the same amount of money that those guys are making, because it's substantial.
Yeah, no, I came from inactive year 2, a healthy scratch. I've pretty much walked every walk in the NFL. I definitely don't play for money. I play for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and things like that are not relevant to me. Where I was born, COVID affected a lot of people a lot worse than me, and it's one of those things. There's nowhere I'd rather be, no organization I'd rather play for, and being able to help, win games here is important to me.
Did you hear much from guys here while you were training back home? Was a lot of conversation, or did they ask?
Yeah, they checked in. When the easy answer is I'm spending time with my wife. They all understood her role in my life, and it was not anything that got any backlash for them.
Yeah. Have they razzed you or given you a hard time about since you've been back?
Oh no, we picked up right where we left off. We've had a couple great practices so far. A lot to improve on, and excited to do that.
The first 4 practices last week, it certainly didn't look like a ramp-up period for you. You've been pretty dominant right from the first whistle. It doesn't seem like your mindset has changed at all. You're busting your butt on every snap.
Well, I appreciate that. That's for the outside looking into. I have evaluation of myself, and I'm pretty critical of my hand placement and a lot of things I can improve on these last couple days. But I do feel good. I feel strong and fast, and I think everybody, if you get an off season like I've had, should improve.